The story begins with a truth so intimate and so vast that it feels almost impossible to hold in a single thought. When you look at the stars, you are looking at yourself. Every human carries within them a silent history written long before Earth existed. The calcium in our bones was forged in dying stars. The iron in our blood was created in the heart of a supernova. The oxygen we breathe comes from the fusion cycles of ancient suns. Even the carbon, the backbone of life, was sculpted in stellar furnaces across billions of years. We are not separate from the cosmos, and we are not guests within it. We are continuations of its story, shaped by the same physical laws, built from the same elemental alphabet, bound by the same cosmic ancestry. When we touch our chest, we touch atoms that once drifted through interstellar clouds. When we inhale, we breathe particles older than our planet. In this sense, the universe is not out there. It is within us. Our bodies are archives of cosmic memory, quiet containers of starfire, nebulae, and the violent beauty of supernova explosions. Every heartbeat is powered by elements that survive the birth and death of worlds. This introduction is an invitation to see ourselves not as small, temporary beings, but as fragments of an ancient continuum. We do not simply observe the universe, we participate in it. We are made of the same stardust that once illuminated the dark. Hydrogen is the oldest whisper in our bodies, the first element the universe ever created, the first breath drawn by reality itself. It was born in the opening minutes after the Big Bang, when everything was still a storm of light, heat, and raw potential. In that newborn cosmos, as temperatures fell from the unimaginable, protons and electrons finally slowed enough to embrace each other. In that embrace, the first atoms formed. They were simple, delicate, and luminous, hydrogen, the original building block of existence. Today, 90% of the atoms in your body are these ancient particles, unchanged since the universe was less than a minute old. Think about that. Almost everything within you, in your blood, in your cells, in every breath you take, was created before stars existed, before galaxies formed, before there was even darkness to shine into. Hydrogen is the quiet foundation of your being. It flows in the water you drink, pulses in the chemistry of your brain, and helps carry oxygen through your veins. It is the fuel stars use to ignite, and it is the fuel that once shaped you. Every heartbeat is supported by atoms that have been traveling for 13.8 billion years, untouched, unbroken, still carrying the memory of the universe's first moment of calm. When you touch your chest, you touch the oldest matter in existence. When you breathe the universe as it once was. Hydrogen is the thread that connects your life to the dawn of time, a reminder that your story began not on Earth, but at the birth of everything. Helium, carbon, oxygen, the elements that shape every breath you take, every cell in your body, every moment of your life, were born in places far older and more violent than anything on Earth. They were forged in stars. After hydrogen, the universe needed a furnace, a place where matter could be reshaped into complexity. That furnace was the heart of the first stars, immense spheres of gas collapsing under their own gravity until their cores became hot enough to ignite nuclear fusion. In those brilliant interiors, hydrogen atoms fused together, creating helium, the second element in your body, the next chapter of cosmic evolution. But the story does not stop with helium. As stars age, they become architects of richer chemistry. When their cores grow hotter and denser, helium atoms begin to fuse into carbon, the backbone of life, the element that forms proteins, DNA, and every organic molecule in your body. Deeper still, as temperatures climb to hundreds of millions of degrees, carbon becomes oxygen. Oxygen, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the molecule that powers our cells, arises from the pressure and heat inside dying stars. Nitrogen follows, forming the triad that makes life possible. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, all born from helium's transformation under unimaginable cosmic heat. And then comes the final act. When these massive stars exhaust their fuel, they collapse and explode as supernovae, cosmic storms brighter than galaxies. In that violent moment, all the elements they forged are released into space, scattered across light years like seeds carried by the wind. From this stardust, new stars emerge, new planets collect, new oceans fill, new organisms rise. Your bones, your blood, your breath, all trace back to ancient supernovae that lived and died long before the sun existed. You are not simply made of stardust. You are made of the ashes of suns, reborn into consciousness. You carry within you the chemistry of the universe, learning to feel, think, love, and dream. Iron is more than a metal. It is the element that flows through every heartbeat you feel, the reason your blood glows red with life. It binds oxygen, carries it to your cells, and fuels every breath you take. But the story of iron begins in a place far more dramatic than the human body. It begins in the dying hearts of stars. Inside a massive star, fusion is a ladder of creation. Hydrogen becomes helium, helium becomes carbon and oxygen, and layer by layer the star builds heavier elements in its core. Each step releases energy, allowing the star to push back against gravity. But there is a limit, a final rung on the ladder. That rung is iron. Iron is unique because when a star tries to fuse it, the reaction consumes energy instead of producing it. At that moment, the balance that has kept the star alive for millions of years collapses. Gravity wins. The core implodes in a fraction of a second, crushing itself into a dense, burning point. And then, the star explodes. A supernova tears the star apart with a force so powerful it outshines entire galaxies. In this cosmic moment of death, iron is scattered into space along with dozens of new heavy elements forged in the explosion itself. These particles drift for millions of years, mixing into nebulae, falling into newborn solar systems, settling onto young planets. Some of that iron reached Earth. Some of it formed the core beneath your feet. And some of it entered your bloodstream where it now carries the oxygen that keeps you alive. The death of ancient stars did not simply reshape the galaxy. It shaped you. Every drop of blood in your body is an echo of a supernova, a reminder that life on Earth began with the collapse of suns. You are here because a star died. And in that death, the universe made the iron that lets you live. Every atom in your body carries a history older than Earth itself. You are made of particles that have traveled through time and space, surviving the birth and death of stars, drifting across galaxies, merging into planets, oceans, and eventually, into you. Nothing in the universe is ever truly lost. Matter simply changes its shape, its purpose, its destination. When a massive star explodes as a supernova, it releases its elements into the cosmos like seeds scattered by a cosmic storm. Hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, iron, calcium, all thrown into the interstellar winds, becoming dust that floats between the stars. Some of that dust becomes part of a nebula, a swirling cloud where gravity begins to weave matter into new structures. Over millions of years, these clouds collapse, forming new stars surrounded by protoplanetary disks. Inside those disks, dust grains clump into rocks, rocks grow into mountains of stone and ice, and eventually planets are born. Earth itself was built from these cosmic remnants, a mosaic of ancient stellar ashes fused into a world capable of life. And that recycling never stops. The water you drink today may contain hydrogen formed minutes after the Big Bang and oxygen forged inside stars long gone. That same water has flowed through rivers, glaciers, oceans, clouds, plants, and the bodies of animals for billions of years. Some molecules once moved through the veins of dinosaurs. Others drifted through the atmosphere of ancient Earth before any living creature existed. Even the atoms that make up your bones, skin, and thoughts were once part of stars, drifting silently through the galaxy before finding a home in your DNA. You are a living archive of cosmic evolution, a walking testament to the universe's ability to reuse, reshape, and reimagine itself. When you breathe, you inhale atoms that once belonged to countless generations of life before you. When you look at the stars, you are looking at the same elements that flow in your bloodstream. The universe is not separate from you, it is inside you. And through you, it continues its ancient cycle of transformation. Nothing disappears. Everything returns. And in that endless recycling of matter, the universe creates the only story it knows, the story of change. The idea that we are made of stardust is not a metaphor, it is a measurable, testable scientific truth. And the tool that reveals it is one of the most elegant instruments in astronomy, spectroscopy. When light passes through a prism or a diffraction grating, it spreads into a spectrum, a rainbow woven from hidden information. Within that rainbow lie thin, dark lines, spectral fingerprints. Each one corresponds to a specific element, a signature carved into light itself. Hydrogen leaves one pattern. Oxygen leaves another. Carbon, nitrogen, iron. Each element paints a unique arrangement of lines across the spectrum. These patterns are the same no matter where in the universe the atom resides. It is chemistry written in the language of light. When astronomers observe distant stars, they examine their spectra the same way a detective examines fingerprints. And what they find is astonishing. The very same elements inside our bodies appear in the hearts of stars millions of light years away. Carbon, the foundation of life. Nitrogen, the backbone of amino acids. Oxygen, the element that fills our lungs. Iron, the metal that carries oxygen in our blood. These elements mark stars with the same spectral lines they mark us. This is how we know our origins. We don't guess, we measure. Telescopes like Hubble, Keck, and the Very Large Telescope break starlight into colors and reveal the elemental composition of distant suns. And every time we do this, the story repeats. Stars and humans share the same chemical alphabet. The universe uses one periodic table for everything, from galaxies to nebulae, from oceans to blood. Spectroscopy proves that the atoms within you once burned in stars, floated in cosmic clouds, and traveled across space before becoming part of your body. We are connected not by poetry alone but by physics. Not by symbolism, but by the undeniable evidence hidden in beams of ancient light. We and the stars speak the same language, the language of elements. There is a moment, often quiet and unnoticed, when a human being looks up at the night sky and feels something ancient stir inside. It is not coincidence. It is recognition. Because the atoms that allow us to think, to wonder, to dream, were born in the same cosmic furnaces that illuminate the heavens. In this sense, a human is not merely a product of biological evolution. We are the universe folding itself into a form capable of awareness. Every thought you have is orchestrated by atoms forged in stars long gone. Carbon structures that once drifted through nebulae now form the networks of neurons that let you contemplate existence. Iron that pulsed in the cores of ancient suns now carries oxygen through your blood, fueling the very brain that asks, "Why am I here?" When you inhale, the hydrogen in the water you drink, the oldest element in your body, whispers a memory from the first minutes after the Big Bang. In us, the cosmos does not simply persist, it awakens. Our consciousness is not separate from the universe, it is one of its many languages. The universe expresses itself through galaxies and gravity, through light and matter, and through thought. When we reflect on the stars, it is not an outside observation. It is the cosmos observing its own origins through the lens of a living mind. This is the quiet truth behind our existence. Every breath is borrowed from the stars. Every heartbeat echoes a supernova. We are the stardust that learned to look back. And in the reflection of the night sky in a human eye, the universe recognizes itself, not as chaos, not as emptiness, but as something capable of asking questions, seeking meaning, and feeling wonder. In the end, nothing that makes us human is ever truly lost. When our bodies return to the world, the atoms that carried our thoughts, our memories, our joys and sorrows begin a new journey. Hydrogen slips back into the water and air. Carbon returns to the soil where life begins again. Calcium joins the stone and the mountains. Iron, the silent remnant of ancient stars, finds its way once more into the endless cycle of matter. Death is not disappearance, it is redistribution. The same atoms that shaped our hearts and minds will someday flow through rivers, drift through forests, rise into clouds, or settle in distant oceans. Some may even be carried away by the solar wind, escaping Earth to wander through interplanetary space. Eventually, over unimaginable spans of time, they may become part of new planets, new stars, or even new forms of life. This is the great continuity of the cosmos. Nothing ends, nothing is wasted. The universe keeps every part of us, stores it gently in its vastness, and reshapes it into forms we will never see but forever belong to. We may live briefly as individuals, but our ingredients are eternal. And as we return to the cosmic whole, the deepest truth becomes clear. You are not in the universe is in you. Our story is the story of stardust that learned to breathe, to think, to feel wonder, and then peacefully returned home.